building persons to be society servants and nation founders. Universitas Pajajaran, or UNPAD, was born due to the initiation of West Java leaders and government support to establish a higher education institution with various disciplines. Launched by President Sukarno on September 11, 1957, today, UNPAD has a large number of institutional achievements. Such as status improvement as the incorporated higher education with A accreditation. This achievement is in line with the commitment of all policymakers in order to accomplish the vision and mission of UNPAD to be excellent university in conducting a world-class education that is able to support the nation's competitiveness through a quality learning process and innovative research. The representative learning facilities and strategic campus in the center of Bandung City, Bandung Regency, and higher education zone in Jatinangor, Sumedang make UNPAD as an excellent university in conducting education, research, and community services. Through its best programs enabling to fulfill the needs of society. Nowadays, UNPAD has 16 faculties and 1 postgraduate school, totally consisting of 152 study programs. Faculty of Law, Faculty of Economics and Business, Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, Faculty of Agriculture, Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Psychology, Faculty of Animal Husbandry, Faculty of Communication, Faculty of Nursing, Faculty of Fishery and Marine, Faculty of Agricultural Industry Engineering, Faculty of Pharmacy, Faculty of Geological Engineering, Postgraduate School. Realizing the importance of learning process, curriculum and learning method are continuously developed in order to adjust the dynamics of stakeholders' needs. Nowadays, UNPAD has used student-centered learning method. That is, learning method focuses on students as the base to actively involve in developing knowledge, skills, attitude and behavior with competence-based curriculum. Supported with professional faculty members and staffs, UNPAD is capable of generating competitive and characterizing graduates. Until now, it has registered 10,000 of students from all over Indonesia and hundreds of international students studying in Universitas Pajajaran. To optimize the education and learning processes, UNPAD is supported with various representative supporting facilities, such as library, Basic Science Service Center, Language Center, e-learning, teaching hospital, and dental hospital. In addition, UNPAD is also equipped with student dormitory, health facility, sport facility, campus transportation, banking, hall, and entrepreneurship facility. Such various facilities are supported with the utilizing of information technology. Besides supporting the academics quality, Universitas Padjadjaran also fully supports the activity of student character building through some student unit. As a part of society, Universitas Padjadjaran absolutely realizes that its function is limited not only in teaching, but also social and cultural aspects. Some social activities, society empowering, and research implementation have been conducted to give real benefits for all society. Universitas Padjadjaran, straightening and developing together with society. From West Java, for Indonesia, to the world through SDGs.
Greetings from Transcendent 2021, massive open online course in Cleft and Palette held by Faculty of Dentistry Universitas Padjadjaran collaborating with Smile Train and YPP-CBL. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rashid Abdulaziz. I'm a dental student from Faculty of Dentistry Universitas Padjadjaran, and I'm here as a Master of Ceremony. So I would like to say hello to everyone here from around the world. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of us. Thank you for participating in this course, especially thank you for attending this live discussion session. And now we have reached week 4 of our courses. Thank you to all of the students, the participants. So this is our 15th live discussion and our second events in the week 4 of our courses. On the previous live discussion, we had discussed about the Cleft anesthesia with Professor Ronke Desalu from Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Nigeria. And now we have another inspiring speakers from Cameroon. We have Ms. Ghong Ruphine from Cameroon. She's the nurse coordinator in Clinique Sainte-Marie and also a smart instructor. Hello, Ms. Ruphine, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
It's
glad
good to
be
see
part
you.
part of your team today, and I'm glad to see you. But there are so many participants. I didn't expect this much.
Yes, Ms. Ruphine, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your interesting lectures. And we all have watched it before this live discussion begin, and we are really appreciate your presence here. We also have here Dr. Amaliya from Department of Periodontics, Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Padjadjaran as our moderator. Dr. Amaliya.
Hello.
How are you, doctor?
Fine, nice to meet you. Thanks for inviting me here.
Thank you so much, doctor. Okay, first of all, before we begin this live discussion, I would like to describe about today's live discussion. So I want to inform that not everyone can make it into this session. From our data, there are 300 students have registered into our courses on our MOC website, and the recorded version of this session will be posted so everyone can watch it later. And about today's live discussion, will be separated into two sessions. In the first session, Ms. Ruphine can answer the question that has been filled out or on our MOC website. So the question will be presented on the screen later. And on the second session, the participants can ask directly to Mrs. Ruphine by the comment section or maybe by opening their microphone and video. And then now we can start the live discussion. I would like to give the spotlight to Dr. Amaliya as our moderator and Ms. Ruphine as our speakers. Please, Doctor, lead us from here.
Thank you, Rashid. Thank you, Rashid. Thanks for everybody who have come and watched the interesting and amazing session on the lecture of Ms. Ghong Ruphine. Ms. Ghong Ruphine, there are already 4 questions raised by the participants. I would like to mention it to you. The first one is from Hasna Faza, Universitas Pajajaran. The question is, you mentioned in the lecture that cyanosis is the late sign. Has there been any case that cyanosis suddenly occurred without nurses noticing the signs?
I take all the questions, so I answer one at a time.
Yes.
Okay. I in the lecture, I am saying that when we look at the complication, cyanosis, when the moment the nurse notices that there is already cyanosis, it is already a late sign in the respiratory complications. It can be seen if it can be seen because it can be seen a little bit earlier, but otherwise it is cyanosis is already an indication that things are already getting worse. It's a late sign.
Is Hasna Faza around? Has the answer addressed the question well, Hasna Faza? Maybe there is another question. Okay, so Hasna Faza has replied that it's already addressed the question well. Okay, thank you so much. And now the second question for Ms. Ruphine from Shifa Diandra. She is also from Universitas Pajajaran.
How to support airway and give high flow of oxygen?
If there is, how to support airway and give high flow of oxygen if there is a complication in the patient. Yes. Yes, please, Ms. Ruphine.
Okay, thank you once again. That we generally use. There are 3 maneuvers that we generally use to support the airway. For the younger child, the child below 5, we can do a chin lift. For the older child above 5, we can do a jaw thrust, or we can also keep this child in a lateral position where the child should not aspirate. So these are the various methods which we use to support the airway, to make sure that the airway is patent. That's supporting the airway to ensure that there is patency in the flow of air into the lungs or the respiratory tract. Now, when this airway has been supported, it is only during that period that you can now give oxygen. A high flow oxygen can be given through a face mask, through an ambu bag, or it can also be given through nasal specs. Nasal specs will not really give a high flow oxygen. But when we talk of high flow oxygen, it's actually given through a face mask or
Mr. Fine. Mr. Finn?
The airway is actually making the airway to be patent through it. Yes.
I think the connection is not so good.
Yes, doctor, I think there's some problem with her signal. So.
It is.
Okay.
Mr. Finn, I think
yes,
I have to ask.
Tell you now.
I have to ask you to repeat your answer. The last words or the last sentence.
Okay, thank you.
Please repeat it.
I was saying, yes, I am saying that to support the airway, it's actually a mechanism, some maneuver we use to make sure that there is a possibility for air to get into the respiratory tract. To do this, for the younger children, we do a chin lift. For the older child, we can do a jaw thrust, or we can put the child in the lateral position such that the airway is open for the oxygen to flow. And high flow oxygen is actually given through a face mask or an ambu.
Okay.
Yes. So in that case, we are supporting the airway by making it open for gaseous exchange to take place.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Finn. Shifa, Diandra, how is it going with you? Shifa?
Yes, Doc, thank you. It's clear for the maneuver.
Okay.
To make it possible for the oxygen to get into the airway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Finn, so the second question has already addressed. And now we are moving to the third one from Amaliya Intan. How to support, if the patient is still unstable after 23 hours, what is the next step that should be taken?
Okay, thank you. This question is a little tricky. What I would say is that the 23 hours are actually what we call the intensive observation period, where the nurse is monitoring the vital signs every hour until it reaches 24 hours. Once the vital signs are unstable for a period of 1 hour or 2 hours, and the patient's condition is continues to be stable, we can't necessarily wait for 24 hours. We return the patient to the ICU or to the recovery. The patient has to leave the hospitalization or the nursing unit back to the ICU, because the ICU is actually a specialized environment to manage unstable patients. So keeping a child for 23 hours, because this 23 hours, the patient has already left the recovery and he is already in the nursing unit. So in the nursing unit, if a patient is unstable for 1 hour, 2 hours, it is very, very imperative to call the anesthetist and the surgeon, which most often the patient is returned to the ICU and the And the ICU is actually a controlled or an environment necessary for unstable patients, not on the wards. So return the patients to the ICU.
Yes, so if it's still unstable, so the next step that should be taken is return the patient to the ICU, right? Okay.
Yes.
Alia, Intan?
Yes, Doc. Thank you
Yeah.
for the explanation, Miss. It's clear.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. And now is the fourth one. Which patient is harder for accurate assessment, younger or older? And why is the reason? This is from Adira Kansa. Yes, please. Ms. Rufin?
Yes. Assessing the patient, the younger child has its own peculiarities as well as the older child. Or perhaps, I don't know, older here is talking about an adult.
Bawa kantong.
Older, is it an adult or the older child?
Adira Kansa, maybe you can make the question clearer.
Yes, I am asking, when they talk of an older patient, is it an older child or an adult?
Okay.
What does older refer?
Okay, I will ask Adira. Adira, are you around?
For older child.
For older child. Okay, so it's not for adult but older child.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the precision. The assessment will depend on the initial state of the patient, regardless of whether the child is older or younger. It depends on the initial state of the patient. A child who is older but who is unstable hemodynamically, the accurate assessment becomes difficult. But in general, every child has its peculiarities. Every child has its peculiarities. But the younger child would need a very close monitoring because of the level of development of their airways. Their airways are very, very fragile. The diameters of the bronchioles are very small. So a little obstruction will cause more deterioration in a younger child than an older child. So if we have to monitor, I will say accurate assessment will depend on the baseline of the child, but a younger child we need to be more vigilant because their airways are liable they're fragile more than the older child. The diameters are very small. A little obstruction will be very, very aggressive on the child. So assessment will depend on the baseline, and the younger child needs to be assessed more accurately.
Okay. Adira Hansa?
Yes, it's clear, Miss. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sufin, for the answer. And now we are going to invite participants to raise question directly in the session. Please, we are welcoming participants to ask directly. If you have any question, you can ask via chat or ask directly to Ms. Ruphine. Please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera. Or maybe you can write it in the chat or in the box. And don't forget to write down your name, your institute, and country. Thank you. Is there any more question? Yes. Okay, Mr. Fine. That is from Gretanza. what is the most common complication that happen from your experience?
The common, I have nursed so many, and based on statistics, the common mostly the common complications we record are respiratory complications. Respiratory complications, but that hasn't excluded that we have also recorded some trauma to the wound. Respiratory complications could range from as little as a running nose to aspiration. So the complications we mostly have are respiratory complications. We have recorded some cases post-operatively, the child will develop just a flu, and we have also had a case of aspiration. But that hasn't excluded. We have also experienced 2 cases of wound trauma, where the child was playing around and he had to fall and the suture lines opened.
Yes, Kretanza. How about the answer? I think it's already addressed the question that has been raised by Gretanza. Gretanza? Okay, so it's clear that the most common complication that happen from Miss Ruphine experience is aspiration from the running nose. Okay, and from the trauma from the wound. Okay, maybe there is another question rising in this direct session. I invite the participants to write down in the chat, or maybe you can also ask the question directly to Ms. Ruphine. Since she is here with us, please take a chance, this opportunity to ask the experts. She is here with us.
Okay, doctor and Ms. Ruphine, maybe there are no more questions from the participants,
Okay.
but I personally have a question for Ms. Ruphine. So maybe from your extensive experience as nurse instructor, nurse coordinator, I want to ask you, do you have any words for all the students here, maybe for all the nursing student, for all the medical student or dental student from taking care of cleft patient or learning cleft lip and palate? Do you have any closing remarks or anything for all of us?
Yes,
Thank you so much.
I will. Although I had not really thought about such a big question, but from my personal experience, I will speak based on evidence-based. Cleft lip or palate is it's a very nice specialty. I got interested because of the results. The results are found exactly on the table. Once a child is born, there are 2 questions everybody asks. What is the sex of the child and how does the child look like? So a child with a deformity on a face is it's not only a trauma to the parents, but even to the whole team, the medical team and all other specialties. The good thing with cleft lip and palate is that the management is pluridisciplinary. So it cuts across many disciplines like dentistry, it cuts across aesthetic, it cuts across nursing, it cuts across surgery, psychology, sociology. So it gives the nurse as a person or the medical practitioner as a person to understand what the other members of the medical team or the healthcare team are doing. Not only has it succeeded, Cleft surgery has succeeded to bring together many disciplines for one cause or one purpose. It has also helped to put a smile on many families, and it has given a wide range of other research, of other discoveries and research, just to put a smile on the face of the children. But what is most satisfactory is the personal accomplishment, knowing that you gave someone a smile on the face. That's why I got interested in the Cleft surgery. But I can also assure you, it is not always easy when we have to cut across cultural barriers or cultural differences with regards to this malformation. But with the help of sociologists and some psychologists, we have been able to demystify a child born with cleft, be it lip or palate. There has been this demystified existence that used to happen with a child born with this malformation. In Cameroon, for example, there are some cultures which will actually kill the child who is born with such a malformation. But now it's no longer the case. We can talk about it. We have headlines where they pass through the media, where children can be identified, and we are working also to make sure that this becomes a national program. I am glad Indonesia has already integrated it into their national program. Cameroon is still in the process of doing so. Thank you very much for all the participants, for the facilitators. I'm so happy. I'm so glad to have met some new faces, and I hope we keep in touch and we develop more smiles on people's faces. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ruphine.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for your invaluable presentation and also your explanation for those questions. So maybe if I may make a summary or a resume. So maybe from the first until the sixth question that already addressed, that cyanosis, it is sometimes can be seen in early stage, but it can also a sign of the condition is getting worse. And the second question is how to make the airflow open for the child. Maybe lateral position can make the airway to be open and clearly give air supply to the patient below 5 and above 5. And then after 30 hours, if the patient is unstable, then we have to take the patient to the ICU because it is already designed as a specialized environment for the patient with the unstable condition. And to define the assessment, it depends on the initial stage or baseline of the patient. But younger child will need more intense monitoring than older child. And the most common complication in your experience is respiratory complication, a running nose to aspiration after the surgery. And for your closing remarks, I think it's Indonesia, there are also high prevalence of cleft, palate, and also the palate, lip cleft. But maybe here it is already in the program of the government, and it is also give a relief for the patient and the family, particularly, yeah, because when we have the child born and the first time we would like to see if he or she is, or the baby is in good shape. But then when we find something or a defect in the body, then it will be a trauma for the family. So I really appreciate your presentation and your attending here. So I return to Rashid Abdul Aziz as the MC. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rubin. Thank you very much, Dr. Amaliya. Maybe I want to conclude from the closing remarks from Ms. Rubin. An interesting sentences. We have heard that one of the most important outcomes is the patient satisfaction of the surgeries, which is we need a proper post-operative care in Cleft patients. So thank you very much, Ms. Rubin, for the amazing lecture, for the amazing explanation, and thank you so much, Dr. Amaliya, as our moderators too. I believe this would be a big inspiration for all of us to learn cleft lip and palate more and more, and even further to implement the best treatments for our patients, our cleft lip and palate patients. So thank you so much to everyone. Goodbye and stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih Dr. Amaliya.
Ya, Philip ya.
Ya, Dok. Thank you, Miss Rubin.
Thank you very much, Percy. I'm glad.
Maybe since you are still here, we can take a screenshot. Take a picture with you. Is it possible, Miss Rubin?
You can take a photo, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I can't see Dr. Amaliya. She's not on the screen.
Oh yeah, Dr. Amaliya has left this meeting, but it's okay. With the student committees, we will take the pictures. So maybe I would like in 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Rufin. Thank you so much, everyone.